Warming. They're always talking about it on the news, and they always seem to come back to something called greenhouse gases. But here's the question: what are greenhouse gases? Well, let's look at the name: greenhouse gases. Interesting. Well, let's stop and think about a greenhouse then. Greenhouses are special buildings meant to stay warm even when it's cold outside to raise plants. Part of this can be managed with heaters, but there's a much different reason greenhouses work and have ever since before we had space heaters. Let's talk about heat. Heat is a kind of energy that travels in waves. Well, a wave-particle duality, but that's physics, not chemistry. Let's stay on topic. Different wavelengths of energy can pass through different things. For example, heat from the sun can pass through glass, but whenever energy bounces off a surface, it can change wavelengths. The wavelength of heat from the sun passes easily through glass, but depending on how the heat bounces on its way back out, the wavelength can be changed so that it can't make it back out of the glass box that is a greenhouse. Now, the greenhouse still has new heat streaming in on top of the old heat bouncing around. See how this sort of concept could apply to global warming? But as one can plainly tell, the Earth isn't exactly encased in glass. Instead, it's wrapped up in a whole lot of gas, all sorts. Lots of the energy from the sun bounces off of various layers of this gaseous coating, but a good bit still gets through in both light and heat. Some of this heat is absorbed directly into the crust of the Earth, but a great deal also bounces back up into the sky, just like in a greenhouse. Now, it's expected that some of this will bounce back down, but lately, more and more of the heat from the sun is getting trapped and contributing to the way things are warming up. Why? Well, it's because the gases in our sky are changing. Society has done a lot of great stuff for humanity, but it's also caused some problems. Nowadays, we use lots of chemical reactions to do things for us, and we like to do them in a big way. The products of these chemical reactions go up into the air and change the composition of the gases surrounding our planet. For example, the biggest greenhouse gas, CO2. CO2, also known as carbon dioxide, is a major component of the glass ceiling around Earth. Not the one holding back strong modern women from career advancement, though that one's a big problem too. I mean, it's acting as the roof of our greenhouse, letting in the high-frequency heat from the sun, but trapping it on its way back out. Well, we all breathe out CO2 and have for a very long time. So, what gives? What's the problem now? The thing is, nowadays, CO2 doesn't just come from our respiratory exhalations. It also comes from burning fossil fuels and other various human activities, including cement making, for example. The environment absorbs a certain amount of CO2 on its own, and it's not even a real problem to have CO2 in the air in its proper amounts. The thing is, as the composition of gas around our planet is getting flooded with more and more CO2, the balance is getting messed up. CO2 is our biggest concern as far as greenhouse gases, but other examples are methane or nitrous oxide. Another example, which is known for being a particularly potent gas, is fluorinated gas. Funnily enough, these artificial gases, hydrofluorocarbons, perfluorocarbons, and sulfur hexafluoride, were created as a substitute for other substances, chlorofluorocarbons, hydrochlorofluorocarbons, and halons. Why were the original substances booted out if these replacements are such strong and problematic greenhouse gases? Environmental reasons, funnily enough. It seems greenhouse gases are in some ways preferable to ones that eat our ozone, our planet's force field of O3 that protects us from UV rays. But that's another topic. To wrap up, greenhouse gases are bad news, and if they continue to build up, the result will not be a verdant greenhouse garden, but a flooded planet with unusual weather patterns and altered climates. That's why we need to reduce our production of these chemicals, particularly the CO2 emitted by burning fossil fuels. I hope the video helped explain some things about greenhouse gases. Bye!